Hello everybody, welcome to a Photoshop tutorial by Glacier Graphics. Today we're going to be learning how to make a League of Legends Katarina signature as seen on the screen. So yeah, let's hop right into it. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to create a new file by pressing Ctrl and N or go to File New. Make the width 500 by 225 pixels. I'm going to leave the background black, which is what I usually have it, but it doesn't really matter what colour. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to get your Katarina render and just paste that into your new file and just place it somewhere you think it would fit. I'm going to place it there because I think it fit there. If you have a different render, just play around with it until you find a place that you like. Next, we're going to be copying in this render, which is called Stock 2. Also, I think I forgot to mention, if you're following the tutorial and you want these sort of stocks here, then I'll be sure to leave a file in the description where you can get the render and all these stocks here. And the brushes, if we use any. Okay, so after that, you just want to paste in the stock and just find a place where you think it fits best on the image. It fits well there, so I'm going to leave it there. After you've done that, you can paste in this one, which will be called Stock 14, and you can paste that above or below the image. I'm going to do it below the image for now. I'm going to set it to linear dodge add to get rid of the black and just find a nice place on the image for it to go. If need be, then you can duplicate it again and just add for some more textures, just like here. And you can also place it on top of the render, like that. Now, if there's part of the image that you don't want, then you can layer mask it off by clicking this button down here, then clicking on your brush tool, setting it to a large size, around 300. I'm going to keep it because I like to do it quick. I'm going to put the form on 50 and the brush must be black. Okay, then you can just like rub out parts of the image that you don't really want or need. And then keep the parts that you do need, like I want this bit here, just for a little effect on the image like that. So I'll be keeping that. Okay, so after that, we want this one. Now this one is entirely optional, you could say, because it doesn't really add much effect to the image in a whole, but if you're using ones with like small details, this will be good. So once again, you're going to set it to linear dodge add, and then just resize it down if you're using this, and then just place where you wanted that little bit of added effect. I'm going to place it on the end of the sword here, and that should be fine. Okay, next we're going to use this one just for some added effects on top of the image. Once again, paste in, set it to linear dodge add, and then just move it about to your liking. This one we will be using multiple times. So first time I'm going to make it look so it's coming out the bottom of the render. And then I'm just going to do it across the image like that until I'm happy. Okay, now I'm going to merge these images together to make one big layer. Set it to linear dodge add and then layer mask. Now some bits which I don't want, like these clumps, and then I don't really want much on the render, so I'm just going to go over it on the render with the same brush that we used to layer mask before. If you want to make it stand out, then you can just duplicate it again and move out and get a bit more in it. That's what I'm going to be doing here. And you should be left with something like this. Okay, so once we've done that, if you're happy with all your results, we can start to add some effects to the image. So the first one that we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some shadows. Now you're going to need a pretty big brush again for this, so probably the same brush that you've been using. The flow on 50, hardness 0 and colour black. And we're just going to go around the edges of the image like this. And then just lower the opacity a lot. Now there'll be some parts on the image where you don't really need it to be shadowed, so if that's the case, then just get an eraser tool, set the hardness down to 0, and then up the size again, and just go like that, and just erase parts of the shadow that you don't want. Or if you don't want to use the eraser tool because it can leave some dodgy edges, then you can layer mask off the bits which you don't want again. So I'm going to leave it at that. That looks fine to me. Okay. After that, we're going to be adding some lighting to the image. So you're going to create a new layer again. Then press Alt and Delete to fill the layer with black. If it doesn't fill with black, if it fills with another colour, it's probably because your primary colour is not black. So set it to black and then press Alt and Delete to fill the image. Next, you want to flip these around, so white's your primary colour, and just make a large white circle. Set it to linear dodge add first, and just create a white circle somewhere where you think the lighting should fit. I'm just going to do mine directly above the image, about here. Okay, if need be, you can just lower the opacity so it's not as visible, but don't lower it too far down, otherwise it won't really make an effect on the image. Okay, so once we've done that, we can start blending it all together, because as you can see, the render has different sorts of shades towards the background. So first of all, we're going to bring out some small minor details by just setting in with a black and white render here and setting that to luminosity. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to lower the opacity quite a bit, because as you can see, it really adds contrast to the image, so you just want to lower it a bit. I'm going to leave mine at about 65. Then you're going to add another layer mask, this time the purple to orange one. All these layer masks that we are using will be preset already, so you don't need to do anything. And then you just want to keep it on normal this time and just lower the opacity to about 32, that looks fine. Then again, another gradient map. And this time I'm going to go with this one here. I'm going to set that to soft light and lower the opacity really down to about 25. And this one's just for effect in the background, I don't really want it on the image. So again, you can just paint black onto it to get rid of the effect of the render, like that. And that'll be fine. Okay. Now we're going to be doing colour lookup. So the first colour lookup that we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving it this 2-strip look. We're going to leave that on normal and lower the opacity to about 25. Then after that, we're going to be colour looking up again, and we're going to set it to foggy night. We're going to lower the opacity on this one to about 24, and I don't really want it on the image as much, so I'm just going to slightly layer mask it out. Okay, after that, we're going to press Control, Shift, Alt and E. Control, Shift, Alt and E. And what that will do is it will create the image onto one layer. Or you can just create a new layer and then go to Layer and apply the image. But Control, Shift, Alt and E is the easiest way to do it. So now we're going to go to Sharpen and just sharpen. It'll really bring out detail in the image. We're just going to fade it a bit because we don't really need that much, to about 70. Okay. Then after that, we're going to be going to Control Shift Alt and E again, then Filter and Filter Gallery. Right. We're going to use this one here, Artistic, and then Paint Dubs. And we're just going to set the sharpness to about 1. This is kind of the same as Sharpen, apart from it brings out just that extra bit of detail and adds a bit of a cartoony looking effect to it. Then we're going to fade the filter gallery again to about 50-45%. Okay. Then we're going to press Control Shift Alt and E again and blur. And this will blur the image slightly, and you can just press Control and F to keep blurring it until you're happy with the blur of the image. I like that. Then afterwards, you're going to go to Layer Mask, set up another Layer Mask, and you're just going to use your brush to layer mask where you don't want the image blurring. Okay, we're going to Control Shift Alt and E again, and this time we're going to go to Filter, Filter Gallery, Distort, and Glass. And what this is going to do, it's going to give it that sort of heat wavy sort of effect. Again, we don't really need it on the image, so we can just, you know, layer mask that out again. Then we're going to Control Shift Alt and E once more. This is the last time you have to do that. Go to Filter Gallery and then Ocean Ripple. And then this time just set the opacity to about 32 and just layer mask it off where you don't need it. Okay, so you've created a realistic looking fire and it's all in the background and the image is kind of blended. Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to bring out some more details in the image. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to go down here again and go to exposure. Now you have to be really careful with this because if you do it like too much, that can happen. So you just want to bring the exposure up just a little bit and then the gamma correction down a bit. And as you can see, it's really making a difference in the image, so you don't want to do it too much. Literally just a tiniest bit. Okay, you don't really need it in the center of the image, so just slightly layer mask it off. Then go back down here and we'll go to curves. And you just want to drag this one down a bit and drag this one down ever so slightly about here. And drag this one down about here. Should look like that. Okay, now we're going to use another colour lookup. This time we're going to be using the 2 strip look again and send the opacity to around 40, 42. Again, if you don't want it to affect this part of the image, then just do that. Okay, we're almost at the end of the tutorial now. You just need to create a new layer and just select the top bit of the image and then just quickly go over it in your brush. Then press Ctrl and V it and drag it to the bottom, and that's it. You've created the signature that you've been looking for. If you want, you can add text, but I didn't because I didn't really feel the need to add it. But if you want to add text, then you can go crazy and be creative. Okay guys, so as I've said, all the links to all of these here will be in the description below. So if you want to check that out, then go down. Also be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you can see more tutorials on this channel and be notified whenever one comes out. Okay.